Welcome back to the channel. I've spent my entire week behind the wheel of this 2024 Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, and it's the last one that Alfa Romeo is going to make, at least for the North American market. So this is going to be your last chance to pick up a brand new Quadrifoglio Stelvio, and the same thing is happening to the Juila. So for the last time in 2024, I'm going to take you around the vehicle. I'm going to show you the exterior, I'm going to show you the interior, and of course, we're gonna take it on a POV drive. Let's get right into it. So first up, as usual, we have our nice daytime running LEDs. You can see it's a very nice and classic look, classic Alfa Romeo. Kind of see these kind of accents on the Juila too. We do though get these nice hood vents right here. They are real. The engine does use them for some additional cooling. Kind of splits up this huge piece of, kind of gray metallic that we have here. Really nice though. Nice Alfa Romeo badge. If I zoom out, you can see it's classic Alfa Romeo. I don't have a 360-degree camera on the front here, but I do have parking sensors, which is useful and nice to have, especially when you got an SUV, but I would have liked to see 360 cameras for this trim considering the price. But overall, I like the front end. It looks really aggressive. It's classic Alfa Romeo. Reminds me of the Juila, just a little bit more raised because we've got the Stelvio, but I really still enjoy it here in 2024. All right, so let me tell you about what's under the hood. I've got a 2.9 liter twin turbo V6 giving us 505 horsepower, 443 pound-feet of torque. I've got an 8-speed automatic transmission, and of course, we've got the all-wheel drive system standard on the Quadrifoglio here. Now, our base price for this Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio, get ready, hold on to your hats, is $103,295 Canadian, with the as-tested price being $109,440. Yeah, it's expensive. So as we go through this thing, you're gonna kind of get an idea of maybe, is it worth it or is it not? And I wanna know what your thoughts are. Just tell me right now, what do you think? Worth it or no? All right, so next up we have the side profile, and it looks a little darker here on camera than actually in real life. The gray actually is quite a nice color, and usually I like my Stelvios or my Alfa Romeos in general in red. That's usually the only color that I would actually option them in, but actually this gray is really standing out. Looks really good with the nice big rims here that we have. Let's zoom in a little bit. We've got the red painted Alfa Romeo brakes where you could really see the brake disc with these rims. I really like it. Some people absolutely hate these rims, but I really do enjoy them on all the Alfa Romeos. It's kind of the standard. Obviously these ones are really big because we have got a Stelvio. We've also got the Quadrifoglio badge here with the 4-leaf clover, so if you ever see a Alfa Romeo with those, you know it's quick. One-touch lock and unlock. It's a sensor, power folding mirrors with the turn signal LEDs, very nice. So yeah, overall really nice side profile. Let's go to the back though, where things get really cool here. You can see we've got the Q4 badge, the Stelvio badge right there. Nice Alfa Romeo badge. I wish this was tucked up because here in the Quebec winters, I worry about that getting damaged, that rear wiper. We also do have a phenomenal looking exhaust pipe here. Looks really, really solid. Sounds phenomenal as well. I'll include a piece for that for you right here. We got a backup camera that is standard, a small diffuser there, and of course we've got our parking sensors, and you can see just how wide these tires absolutely are. So this thing gets quite a bit of grip. I also like the sleek design of the tail lights here as well. And last but not least, let's open the trunk. And you can see, again, I've got my stroller in here for people that are new parents and want to see that. A little bit of storage there under the floor, but not much here. It's more like the utility stuff that's going to be under there. But I fit my stroller here. Again, I will include some B-roll shots of it completely empty for people that don't care about strollers and stuff like that, but this does fit just for reference. Got a little privacy screen, the ability to fold out the seats from right here. The subwoofer right here in the back sounds pretty good. Harman Kardon, not that bad. So that's going to do it for our exterior tour for the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. There's a lot to go over in the interior. I'm going to show you the back seat first, then I'm going to show you the front seat, and then of course POV drive coming right after that. Let's get right to it. Okay, first up as usual is the rear for the Stelvio Alfa Romeo. So you can see not a lot of color or anything going on, but there's a nice tint on these windows, which I like. You kind of got this carbon fiber stitching right here, like nice little piece of leather, the white stitching, very basic kind of seat setup here, nothing crazy. You got the car seat tie downs right here. And you got a little button right here that's going to fold, and I like that we have the little clover there on the sill. Let's actually hop in. I'll show you how much room we're really working with. It's pretty comfortable. It's very easy to get into. The ride height's decent here, so I don't mind that either. Nice little cutout for the knees as well. So we've got plenty of space. I've got 2 vents here as well as 2 USB-C, and I've got 2 buttons for the heated seating back here, which is nice to have. A little bit of storage there underneath. The baby seat that I have fits perfectly fine, and as well you can kind of put the shade halfway. That way the sun's not directly on the child, which is very good. Installs with the seat belt. That's the way I have it, but no problem. I enjoy it. And then we also have 2 lights back here as well, which are nice to have. And we've got this guy that's going to fold down, little cup holder, not too bad. And we've also got a little Alfa Romeo badge right there. That's cool to see. Very black, very dark back here. Not a lot of stuff happening, but it is comfortable, so that's good news. And, you know, it's a nice and basic design, but does the job for a backseat performance SUV. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything crazy back here, so not too bad. So let's hop up in the front. All right, next up is the business end for the Stelvio. Again, you can see not a lot going on in the front either, but we do have the Harman Kardon speakers. We have our 3 memory seat settings right here. Trunk controls right here. A little bit of like nice soft leather there too, and I like the plastic in this kind of fake carbon fiber thing. It's like a stitch, but it looks like carbon fiber, so we'll take it. Then I have this guy here that's kind of going to come out for your legs there. Very nice and adjustable. Alfa Romeo badge on the seats, which is nice. You have like this black and white stitching. I think I would go with the racing seats if I had to option this myself. We're already spending over 100K. Might as well get the cool racing seats. Then we've got the Clover here again. Aluminum pedals, which is nice. So let's hop in and I'll show you the steering wheel, because that is, you know, kind of the coolest part of the inside anyways. We've got a really nice red start button here, very cool. On the Tonale and other stuff, it's black, so I like the red there. We're missing the kind of lane centering assist. We have the lane keep assist. We also have adaptive cruise control, hill descent, climb assist, all that stuff. We've also got our media controls right over here, as well as the stuff to control the infotainment display. Lighting controls are on the left-hand side, as well as the illumination control. The infotainment is digital. You've seen it before probably on other Alfa Romeos. It's nothing crazy. You can kind of change the view there. It does change with the sport mode. So I have N mode and I have D mode. That's kind of the sport mode, and then I've got racing mode as well, which kind of really, that's the coolest one. And I wish you could just customize the car to keep it in, say, like, you know, N mode, but have the racing gauge cluster. I can't figure out a way to do it. I don't think you're able to. So it'd be cool to kind of just customize the visuals without actually having to be in the mode all the time. I like the blacked out Alfa Romeo badge. I also like the little carbon fiber. This looks like actual carbon fiber to me, and it's got the Clover there, so very nice. No heads-up display, anything like that, but honestly, I don't feel like I'm missing it. I don't need it. And then we've got kind of this nice one piece. It's all one piece, but it's a very small infotainment display there. You can see just how small it is there. And yeah, I've got CarPlay, Android Auto, built-in navigation, all the stuff that you would want, but in a very small package, if you will. I've got performance pages, stuff like that. So it is kind of made for, like, you got some track options here that you can take a look at while you're ripping around. Climate control settings are there, although there's physical buttons for them as well. And really, there's not a lot going on here. It's fast when I use the knob here, this little tuning knob down here that I've got. It's a little slow when I use my hand, so I prefer just to use the tuning knob. But look, you're not going to be doing a lot with this infotainment, I'll be honest. It's very small for 2024 here, and kind of makes sense why they're making the Stelvio Quadrifoglio their last one, because I think this needs an upgrade. But you let me know what you think. Then we've got vents. I've got dual zone automatic climate control, heated seats, heated steering, no ventilation, which is interesting considering the price of the vehicle. You'd think we would have that, but we don't this time. I've got 2 cup holders standard. This guy can kind of fold over them as well. Little key holder there. You saw that in the Juila. I think the Tonale had it too. Then we've got a basic shifter. Nice Italian flag though. Again, we kind of continue. I like that this isn't piano black, because they could have easily done that, and this isn't going to get dirty that easy, so that's nice. This wheel though, it's already got some scratches on it, but it's how you're going to control your infotainment. Got some quick selection buttons. Then we've got our drive mode selector. You have the D, N, and the A. So A for eco, N for normal, and D for pretty much sport mode, and then race, obviously, for race mode. Then we've got a wireless charger you can slot in right there. A little bit of storage there as well where I put my wallet. That's actually the USB that you're going to connect to the car, not the one that's right there, which is, I found kind of interesting. This one just charged the phone. You got a 12 volt there as well. So really nice layout. I do like the interior. Obviously the steering wheel kind of makes it up. You got these, look at these column mounted paddle shifters too. Kind of can't go wrong with that. I love using them. It's, you know, it's a bit, definitely a interior that could be a lot more for the price that it is and the vehicle that it is. I feel like Alfa Romeo had a unique opportunity to possibly throw everything at the wall here and just charge whatever you want, because it's the last one, right? So you feel like, you know, you kind of make a bit more of an effort to make it not look like all the others, but it's the last one that simply looks similar to the other ones. So yeah, I just find it, you kind of missed it. They kind of missed it. They had a cool opportunity to do something one of one, you know, 1 year, one model year. It looks cool. Could have given us the racing seat standard, something like that. But nope, we are pretty much not a lot of change, which sucks. But I don't mind the functionality of it. I don't actually mind the small infotainment because of the fact that it looks like one piece. So like if it was like this separate little tiny screen that was sticking out of the dash, then it would be a bigger problem for me. Then I would notice it a little bit more. But I actually don't notice it that much. And the Harman Kardon sound system is okay. Not the best thing in the world, but you want to hear the exhaust in this car, especially the Quadrifoglio, more than you want to hear the sound system. Unless, at least if you're an enthusiast like myself, then that kind of matters. There's my thoughts for the interior of the Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio. Let me strap that GoPro to my forehead. Let's get to the driving. Let's get to the best part of it. All right, so on the road now with the 2024 Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, the last one. It sucks. I mean, it sucks, but also to make way for new stuff to come in, old stuff kind of has to die, right? And I mean, I guess Stellantis hasn't really invested that much money into the North American market, so it makes sense why they're not going to be selling Quadrifoglios here anymore. It could be because they don't sell well. It could be because of electrification. It could be because of a lot of different factors. But I mean, the good thing is I still get to enjoy it while it's here. Now, it's been sort of comfortable, but also like the Stelvio and just the Quadrifoglio, I don't know if the normal Stelvio kind of has a stiff suspension, but definitely the Quadrifoglio has a stiff suspension. I'm in like normal mode basically, and even if I turn it into like its eco mode counterpart, like it's still pretty bumpy, still kind of, you know, roughs you up a little bit. But I've got a couple of special modes. I mean, first of all, I have one special mode actually. I've got the, first of all, the D mode, which is sport mode, but then we can take it one step further. You'll see the infotainment, the gauge cluster change right there. Pop it into manual mode. Oh man, you can hear that exhaust just vibrating. Oh, woo. Oh man, you got shift lights on the bottom there and everything. This thing is just a little monster that like struggles for traction if you really put the power down, especially in the wet. I've put the power down a couple times in the wet, and this thing just like spins in race mode because you're turning your ESC off and your collision, everything, you know, all the assists come off because this is more meant for the track. But what's cool is I could still have a mid damper active, so I could still be kind of comfortable and also be in race mode at the same time. You also notice that I knock my shifter over because I'm in a complete manual mode, which means I'm using these paddle shifters to row my own gears, or go through my own gears anyways. You're not really rowing anything, you're clicking through stuff. But yeah, I love the paddle shifters. The transmission here is really, really responsive. Like, it's lightning quick. Like, I can downshift, rev it, and it's like, it's really, really quick. It's there's almost no delay in the things that I want to do or the things that I need to do. I've been using a ton of gas too because I've been keeping it like, you know, in manual mode a lot. This is one of the first times where like I'm driving an SUV that has kind of paddle shifters, and I'm actually volunteering to put myself in full manual mode all the time because the sounds that come out of this thing are just phenomenal for an SUV of this size. And it's also just really fun to use the paddle shifters to go up and down in gears. Yeah, they're big, they're column mounted, they feel really cool in my hands, and yeah, I just love them. Also, we've got, like I said, this nice kind of Alcantara thing that helps with the grip here, so when you're like on the track, you're not going to slide, but it also feels really good on the back of like my fingers. So like when I don't have my hands on the paddle shifters and I just have my hands on the steering, like right now I'm in 8th gear, so can't really go higher than that. So it's very nice, just comfort. It's just like a comfort thing. I've also got adaptive cruise control. You can get a package that kind of gives you like a lane centering assist, which is interesting. The car though will still downshift for me, which I don't know if I like that much. I prefer like there I was in 8th and like I can go back up. Like, see, now I can't even go up to 8th, So like it kind of like limits you on what you can do a lot of the time. Like, see, it still won't let me go up. So it like, yes, it's a manual mode, but it also will take control sometimes and like shift for me. Like, see, I'm supposed to have an 8-speed, but I can't go up. So, and it will also do the same thing when I go down. I think sometimes I've tried to go into first too early and it will limit that as well. So I guess it's kind of protecting its transmission. So, you know, it's not really letting you have full control, but usually like I have most of the control that I want. But also helping me get into first gear, because this, when you put it into first gear yourself, it's a little jerky, and when I let the car do it on its own, it's a little bit better. Oh man, I mean, this thing is just the bee's knees, man. Oh, you can hear me coming in this Stelvio Quadrifoglio. I wonder what the Juila is, because I think they have around the same engine, and obviously this Quadrifoglio this Stelvio is a lot heavier to get off and get going, right? So like, I can imagine the absolute rocket that would be the Juila with the Quadrifoglio engine inside of it. Whoa, that thing must be insane. And I hope it comes across my desk before the snow comes, because that's going to be fun to have like a lot of fun with. Oh man. But, you know, let's talk about like practicality, right? Like, the infotainment is pretty small, but honestly, I've gotten used to the size. There's no ventilated seats. The ride quality's rough. So why on earth do you spend money on something that's this expensive? Why do you spend over $100,000? You don't get ventilated seats, you don't get a 360 camera, you have to pay even more for like full like driving assistance. Why would you do it? Well, because you want to stand out. Like, you could go with like, you know, sure, BMW, Audi, Mercedes, they've all got it on lock with the speed and the comfort. Like, they figured that out perfectly, but they don't look like an Alfa Romeo, and they don't drive like an Alfa Romeo. They don't have these iconic paddle shifters that an Alfa Romeo does. There's a lot of things that an Alfa Romeo has that makes you stand out, and I think that's pretty much the reason why somebody would buy this over, you know, like a Mercedes, an Audi, or a BMW that has a lot more of the luxury, that can do a little bit more with the same amount of horsepower. But, you know, nothing's Italian. It's not made by the Italians, you know, so like, it's going to be a special person. This is definitely a niche market, the Quadrifoglio, and the Stelvio in general is definitely a more niche down market, where it's like a very specific customer is going to go in and buy it. Somebody who loves Italian cars, somebody who maybe has a couple already, or is just a fan of the brand. Those are the people that you're going to see around in this. Because honestly, I don't see too many Stelvios around me. I see more of the Juila, and I never see a Quadrifoglio Stelvio. Like, it's very rare. The Juila, yes, I see it a lot of the time, but the Stelvio, I'm pretty much the only one in my area here. And it's unfortunate, because this thing is just a little monster. This little engine in here, 2.9 liters, but a V6. You know, the Italians have made it pack a punch in like the most Italian fashion possible, because it's not a screamer, but it's a very refined exhaust sound. It's very like, you know, it's there when you want it, but also as you shift through the gears, it kind of gets quieter and quieter. Like, as I go into 6 here, quieter and quieter and quieter as we go along. Oh, we still get those nice burbles on the upshift. Super nice. Sometimes when like the car's not warmed up and I rip it from first, I'll get a nice big bang right out of the exhaust. It sounds so cool. But it's rare, and it's hard to predict it, and it's hard to like make it do it on command, right? So yeah, it's overall, like, I think the handling is pretty good too. It's got like a almost perfect 50-50 weight distribution. That's what Alfa Romeo says anyways. It's hard to really tell that without really like wringing its neck through the track. But definitely like the body roll, at least from the front seat, is pretty much in check from what I can tell. Like, it's very stable when I'm taking it through fast corners. And when I'm just ripping it in general, like even with the ESC off, I still feel like I have a lot of control over the car. So yeah, this thing definitely can light up a track, I'm sure. And the fact that it's an SUV makes it cool, right? Like, because usually like 505 horsepower, you're not going to find a lot of SUVs that have that kind of power, unless you're talking about like the Jaguar F-Pace SVR that has maybe like, I think that thing has a supercharged V8. But still, like, I've got all the space that I need for my family. Like I showed you, I've got stroller space, I've got car seat space, I've got back room, leg room. Like, I've got kind of all of it, and I get to 505 horsepower, and I get a supercharged twin turbo V6. I'm thinking about the Jaguar now, which is still pretty impressive that, you know, this is even something that's still offered in 2024, considered like all the electrification stuff. So I'm very glad that it's here, and like, you know, obviously there's stuff that's going to be better than it, like on the luxury side of it, but like on the performance side, I think it's competitive. So I think I'll go ahead and leave it there, unfortunately, for the last Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. If you want one, go pick it up now, because they're going to start to maybe go up in price because Alfa Romeo is not selling them anymore here in North America. I hope I can get my hands on the Juila. That would be really cool to also give that one a proper send-off, a little drive. I've driven the Juila once before. This is actually my first experience in a Stelvio, so the Quadrifoglio's definitely set the bar high for the Stelvio, but I think it would for any engine. It's a very nicely tuned engine, I think, and this manual mode never gets old. Love these metallic paddle shifters. Fun. A fun little Italian car that maybe doesn't have all the luxurious things that you'd expect from a vehicle at this price point, but it's got all the personality and everything else in between that I think a lot of people that buy this car, that actually spend the money, are probably going to enjoy it. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like if you liked what you see here. If you want to see more videos like the Quadrifoglio Stelvio, if you want me to get the Juila, you got to subscribe, because if I have it, it's going to be right here on the channel. If you're ever curious to know what it's like to live with one of these vehicles, then that video should be out shortly after the review. You can check that out. I do 2 videos a week on every single press car that I get my hands on, so you're not going to want to miss a new video. With that being said, I'll see you next week, see you next car. Take care.